Minasan konnichiwa. If you haven't guessed by my language and my appearance, well, the country that I'm targeting today is Japan. So I'm going to tell you 10 things that you should know about Japan before you decide to go. Because I know a lot of people like to go to foreign places and they like to just go and sightsee, but for me, I think it's really important to be able to know a couple things about the country before you actually go. So let's get down to business. My first thing is transportation. Now I'm going to be really blunt with you guys. If you don't want to spend a lot on a taxi and you don't like people invading your personal space and you can't ride a bike, well, I don't think Japan is the place for you. Let me explain. Let's start with the taxi. In Japan, taxis are very expensive. For you to go from one place to somewhere that's like probably half an hour away, it can cost as much as $50 something US, because Japanese currency and US currency is pretty similar. The currency is about 10 to 1, I think. It could vary, but that is how I like to convert it because it's a lot easier. So in Japan, taxi fares start around 740 yen, which might be around $7 US. That's a whole lot more expensive than North America, because up here in Canada, taxi fares start at around 375 Canadian. So if you don't want to take the taxi, the next option is the bike. In Japan, so many people ride bikes that it's actually illegal to have an unregistered bike. There are a lot of places that you can rent bikes and you can basically park at the station and then you can ride the train. The train is my next mode of transportation and I will tell you about my experience on the train. So my experience with the train has not been a very good one because I went to school in Japan for 5 months, which means I had to take the train during peak hours almost every day. So basically, the trains in Japan can get so packed during peak hours that saying that it's cramped is an understatement, because you literally feel like your air is being sucked out of your lungs and you can't do anything about it. I've been more intimate with people on the train than I've been with a lot of people, so that was a very interesting experience. Sometimes it can get so horrible that the conductor actually has to shove people in the train and manually close the doors. So you can imagine how bad the train rides can be. And I'm telling you, peak hours are early morning from 7, and guys, just letting you know, it can probably still be packed at around 10 o'clock at night because Japanese people work very late. So you might find people getting off work at about 8 o'clock and you will still be in shambles. Number 2, language. Okay, guys, do not go to Japan and not know anything about the language because it won't work. It just won't work. Even if you have to learn very, very basic Japanese, like hello, goodbye, where's the bathroom, stuff like that, things that you know you will ask and know you will say, please at least learn those. I was that person that thought I could just get away with speaking English and everything would be fine. I was an idiot. Japanese people do not speak English in Japan. That is one thing that you will find in very, very, very few places. And even if they do know English, they will not want to speak it because they might think that you're going to laugh at them. So I suggest that you at least learn the basics, or you have good sign language skills, or you know how to gesture very well, because if you try to speak to them in English, they are just going to look at you, and probably if they understand what you're saying, they're going to respond in Japanese and you'll both be in shambles. I remember actually going to the immigration, and I had learned a bit of Japanese at that point, but I assumed, you know, it's immigration. Everybody's going to speak English because foreigners are going to be going to immigration. The immigration officer looks at me and she goes, "Ganbatte." And I go, "Are you kidding?" Number 3, appearance. Okay, so Japanese people are very reserved. The culture is completely reserved. You might find that if you go to Japan, people are dressed very conservatively. They might have long skirts, t-shirts, and that is their culture. And I suggest that if you don't want to be stared at by the judgmental grandmas or the perverted grandpas, then you dress to suit. So the way that you might see them dressed in the animes, not the hentai guys, be a very close representation of what they dress like normally. When I first got to Japan, I was dressing like my normal self. I would wear like strap tops, sometimes short pants, and then I realized that I started getting so much attention that I almost gave out autographs. Number 4, Japanese are very indirect. So if you are going to ask them for directions or anything like that, if they don't know, they are not going to say, I don't know. They are going to try to help you no matter what, even if it means giving you completely wrong directions and sending you somewhere completely different. And they don't like to offend people. So if it's an instance where they might have to be brutally honest, they are going to just avoid it completely. I was taught when I was learning Japanese that you're not allowed to insult anyone. You cannot say that anyone is bad at something. You can only say they're good at something. Or you can't say that you don't like someone. You can only say you like someone or something. Even if you do something that makes them mad, they might not tell you that they're mad about it. They will keep their emotions hidden, and they may smile at you and make you think that everything's okay. So just be very, very, very vigilant and very attentive to what you're doing so that you don't offend anyone. It's a very complicated culture, but it's very interesting when you get to learn what they're all about. Number 5, Japan is a cash economy. Many places that you go to in Japan, they will only accept cash. On very rare occasions, they might accept credit card, but it's always best to be on the safe side. I'm from Canada. No one uses cash here really. It's like card, swipe. So when I went to Japan, I had limited cash on me, and when that cash ran out, I just wanted to use my card everywhere, but then I realized, well, whoops, they aren't taking cards in a lot of places that I went. A lot of restaurants, they were taking cash only, stuff like that, and it was very annoying at first, of course, because you always had to be withdrawing things, but after a while you get used to it. So just know to make sure to carry cash with you at all times, just in case you can't get through using your card. On another note though, speaking of cash, Japanese and people in Asia do not tip. So please do not try tipping the waiter, tipping the driver, anything like that. They accept exactly the amount that they bill you. So if you try to tip them, they may give you back your change, or they might think that you're trying to be rude. I don't know.